Hey y'all, what's up? It's AM Trades, and this is day 3 of the $0 to $1 million in funded before the end of the year. And today we took 2 trades. It is actually a no news Monday, so we'll get to why I shouldn't have traded and should have just taken that first trade and then been off the charts. But regardless, so today's summary, we lost about 0.5 R. Actually, it's more like 0.2 R off of our full size. So it's pretty much a break even day. But at our current size, that means 0.2 R is a $1,000 position size. So losing 0.2 is losing 1,000 US dollars. However, those two are on just random accounts, so it doesn't really matter. But regardless, so far we have, like I said, that 100,000 in funding from one of one that is live now, as well as two one phase accounts from Funded X that I'm currently trading, that I traded this morning, which made our lot size $4,000 because I risk a standard 1%, right? So regardless, we lost $1,000, which off of our 5,000 usual size, that is 0.2 R, and we will get into the charts now. So here we can see that we have kind of a mess. I'll explain and go through all of this, but regardless, we're going to start on the 4-hour. So on the 4-hour here, we can see that we are obviously order flow shifted bearish in the last week, and we are making moves to the upside again after, the fundamental whatever. And I was looking to fill this daily for value gap here. This daily for value gap was my draw on liquidity. Like I said, it was a no news Monday, and there's a lot of news this week, okay? There's so much. So I kind of expected market to chop around, but not really this bad. I expected to see a move up into this daily for value gap. But anyways, if we go on my main first draw this morning was for the weekly opening gap to get filled again. So if we look on the futures chart for the NASDAQ here, look at the weekly. Let's see this gap right here. If we grab our tool, this is the weekly opening gap, okay? And this means, so usually a standard imbalance will mean that buyers or sellers will not have had the chance to place orders and trade through that area. So let's say here we can see we have a standard imbalance. Sellers were able to trade through this area, but buyers were not, which is why we are going to see a revisitation of this daily for value gap, right? However, in a new daily or new weekly opening gap, there is literally no volume to the upside or to the downside that traders have been able to go through. So market will have to rebalance it before it trades anywhere else. Okay, no matter what, because market wants to provide the possibility for both buyers and sellers to get a fair price and to get trade how they want to, right? But if price was not even offered in this area, the market is going to have to revisit it so that people can trade, buy, and sell in that area, right? So actually, if we refine this zone a little bit, that is our new weekly opening gap, okay? And look what happened, actually. So if we look here, we can see right around 9 a.m., this was around market open, okay? We're on the hourly. This is the market open candle. Look what we did. We came and took liquidity to the upside. We swept that high. And also we swept these highs on the S&P 500, but not on the NASDAQ, but regardless, because NASDAQ's the weaker pair right now. But we swept this high and then immediately dumped and filled the new weekly opening gap, okay? So right after that new weekly opening gap, I didn't expect it to get hit so early. Actually, we can see down on the 5-minute that this was market open right here, okay? And then we immediately dumped, which I expected to happen, but I didn't expect it to happen until 9:50, which is when I wanted to catch the move down. I thought we were just going to chop around. But anyways, so this meant that already half my bias was fulfilled, and then I wanted to see a move up to the daily for value gap up here. But regardless, that never ended up happening, but I'll explain the trade we took in accordance with we wanted that to happen in a minute. But we can see that we came down here, filled the new weekly opening gap, and then we saw a move to the upside. So my mentor actually caught this entire move down. He sold the turtle soup at here at the top on a few futures funded accounts and made I think it's 400 or 300 ticks of profit. Let's see. Yeah, like 350 ticks of profit, which is incredible. But regardless, so he filled that new weekly opening gap. And so now we were able to start looking for longs to the upside. And that's kind of what I wanted to show you on the futures chart. So if we go back to the CFD chart where I have all my markings, of course, CFDs, they will just automatically kind of make that gap either gap up will be a blue candle or a green candle, and gap down will be a white candle or a red candle, right? Regardless, we can see that we had an SMT of these lows at the beginning. So if we compare that with the S&P 500 on the 5-minute, we can see we had this bullish SMT as well after sweeping the lows and coming into new weekly opening gap on the NASDAQ, which is the weaker pair. So I wanted buys. So then immediately I go down on the 1-minute. I'm looking, trying to find a good opportunity to get a buy in discount of this entire range. So I'm trying to buy in discount. And what I should have done is actually entered off of this 1-minute inversion for value gap, because this is the only inversion for value gap. This is the only for value gap in the range. And this was also a fair value gap that in the past had disrespected this bullish order flow, right? So the ideal trade today and what I should have taken was longs off of this area. Let me show you here. A long position right off of this candle close above that for value gap, and then targeting the same. I targeted the 5-minute, the 5-minute for value gap high here, okay, and that would have netted me 1.7, and then eventually, I think, unless we dumped before we got there. Yeah, so it would have been only 1.7, which is worse than the trade I took, but I still would have preferred to take this even if it was less R than the one that I took. But regardless, today was one loss, one win. We had a kind of move down, and then again to sweep out early buyers here, we had another move down, creating this breaker block, and then this is a breakaway gap due to the momentum to the upside to create this breaker. We tapped into the breakers for value gap, and then we started seeing a move up. That's where I placed my stop here, and then I entered off of this for value gap in right around OTE. So we aggressively moved down to seek OTE here, and that's where I got tagged in on two $200,000 accounts with risk at $1,500 each, because the funded X accounts actually have a really weird leverage on on the NASDAQ, which is, I didn't expect that. It's only 1 to 10. So I can't really trade like small stop losses like 150, which isn't usual for me. I'll usually have a stop loss at around like 200 to 300 pips. But regardless, it's still very annoying. I have to position down. I have to size down if I have a smaller stop loss. But regardless, we took entries here. We kind of caught right at the bottom of the range here, OTE, right, 0.618 of the entire range. And then we were targeting the top of this 5-minute for value gap, which ended up getting hit for a 1 to 1.97. And then I had to manually close on each one because I'm not paying for trade copier yet. I should probably get that set up soon. But that's a total of 1.97. And then here we have the executions. I made $1,920 on that account, and then 1,500 exactly. And then that's the stop at break even. And the minus is there from the commission. And then here we have the stop at break even was a little bit in profit. So even though they had the exact same alerts, they both got slipped different amounts, which is very, very annoying, especially here when we took the loss. I'll explain that in a minute. This was only a $1,750 position. And on here, I only got slipped $50. And here I got slipped $200, which is like annoying. There's no reason for that to happen. But regardless, and look, that was the wick. That was the wick I got slipped on, which is ridiculous because it wasn't even that big. But anyways, I'll get to that in a minute. And then, so as soon as we were out of this trade, get stopped at break even, whatever, I was considering being done for the day, but because I was so bullish, like I really wanted to see that daily get hit, and we were still respecting OTE at this, right? So I see a dump down into OTE again, still being respected. And then I see another tap into OTE. That's 3 times already. I am looking for another re-entry, right? So we did see this 1 minute for value gap get inverse. And then I placed limits right here at this for bullish for value gap after this bearish inverse, looking for a continuation to the upside and to finish catching this move all at least to here, right? Or at least to here. This would have been my first take profit, right? But actually we saw, of course, I expected better PA on like literally any other day. These longs, like 90% chance would have booked all the way to TP3. Just because it's a no news Monday, we had nothing on the economic calendar and so much news for the rest of the week that, I should have expected that. But regardless, moving on, in the future, I'm going to limit my no news Monday trades to 1 trade a day. And whether that's a win or a loss, I step off the charts, right? But regardless, so here we entered off of this 1 minute for value gap, seeking to the upside, right? And this was not a take profit level. That was from the other trade. And so I was targeting here as my first, and then all the way up to the 50% mark of the daily for value gap, right? So we got chopped out, and then market literally just chopped around. This is a loss. This is a loss I'm kind of happy to take. However, not for a no news Monday. For any other day, I would be very happy to take that loss because that is exactly in my risk parameters. I had a good stop loss right below this, protected by the order block here, as well as this imbalance here on the 30-second, right? I didn't take all the way down to this wick because I didn't see a reason for us to come back down into this 1 minute order block when it had already been mitigated. But regardless, we took a loss there, and that was a loss of 0.75 or whatever 1,750 divided by 2 is. 0.85% risk. So I'm down 0.85% on that trade alone. However, on the other trade, we made about 0.75. That's 0.75. So it really doesn't matter. We were kind of break even for the day. I think it was a total of $1,000 lost, but that's nothing on a $400,000 size of account, right? Risking 1%. But regardless, so pretty much a break even day. I'm going to limit my trades for No News Mondays in the future, but this was a kind of very irrational day. You can see that we had like some crazy dumps and some crazy moves up, right? And this is even below OTE all the way to our bearish TR pocket of the initial opening range, which is weird. We could have bought from here actually, but it's late in PM session, not going to happen. So yeah, and tomorrow we are definitely going to see a move up into the daily for value gap. So I will probably be looking for longs tomorrow, especially off of this rebalance of price down here. We're going to come rebalance. We also swept these internal lows and went into an hourly for value gap. So that's a perfect example of a turtle soup. But yeah, regardless, we'll be on tomorrow. The rest of the week has great news. We have NFP on Friday, CPI on, I think CPI, non-farm. Oh, NFP on Wednesday. So that's going to be interesting. NFP on Wednesday. Nothing tomorrow super interesting, but just standard, high impact news. And then, Friday, we also have NFP. So NFP Friday, Wednesday, unemployment claims on Thursday, and FOMC on Wednesday as well. Oh, man, this is going to be a wild ride. But, so 9 is 0.85% on the day. Well, not on the day, but on just that trade, and pretty much break even on the day. That's the update for the 29th of April, 2024 on the Funded Account Challenge. So I really hope to see you guys in the next one. We're going to start having these ones more daily instead of market and trade recaps. So yeah, see you guys in the next one. Appreciate you for watching.